Good morning, Saints. Happy Wednesday morning, hump day, right? So, thank you for joining me for this morning's devotional. So, this is going to be a challenge for me to get through. So, I've been praying and seeking the Lord to just to guide my words, because this is a tough one for me to get through. Okay, so there are two experiences, memories that I have that have carried me through life. I'll be 54 in August. Okay, so the first one was back when I was a kid, about 7 years old. Uh, I had a dream, a vision. It's just as real and vivid as if it just happened last night, and I want to share that. Okay, I'm not going to go into real great detail because I'm trying to be brief with this, but just give you a general outline. Okay, so in this dream, uh, uh, I was on a school trip, okay? The school that I was going to as a child, we had a trip scheduled. So that night, I had a dream about going on this field trip, okay? So on the dream starts off as a good dream, of course, and then all of a sudden, everything just falls away, and I am standing on like a path or something, a bridge or something. I just remember I was standing on something, and all around me was fire. Okay, and out of that fire, uh, a monster, a beast, or something was coming out of the fire, and the fire was draping its outline. Okay, and I remember feeling terror and fear and all that. So what started off as a good dream of having a field trip became this nightmare of me standing on like a bridge surrounded by fire. It was fire everywhere, and this monster was coming up out of the fire. And I remember being so afraid and feeling terror, and it was a complete nightmare. And in that moment, all I said was Jesus. And when I said Jesus, instantly, we talking about immediately, I went from that place to what I could only describe as heaven or paradise, whatever, but I was with the Lord. So I went from a place where it was all fire and this monster coming out of the fire to when I said Jesus, I was instantly taken from there and I was with the Lord. Now, in that moment, in that place, there was no terror or fear. All I felt was just goodness and joy and love. It was just the complete opposite. And I remember looking up at the Lord and I couldn't see his face. It was just shining. And what I remember most about this place was the light. Was the light. And we walked and talked in that dream the whole night. I remember we were holding hands and the Lord and I myself just walked and talked. And I remember the light. Okay, I remember that light as vividly as I'm describing it now. And I remember just the contrast from being in such a place where I felt nothing but terror and fear to now the total opposite. Okay? Very real experience I had as a child. I'm not going to go deep off into it. I know I had mentioned this in another video last year that I had made, but I had just started making these videos, so I know I didn't tell this story and do it some justice. And I'm not going to really go into it real heavy now, that experience. But that was a very real thing. Oh, and then when I woke up the next morning, from having that dream with the Lord. Uh, this right here is something that makes me know that how real that dream or vision was, because the next morning when I woke up, I remember feeling so good, right? And I got up, got myself dressed, went walked myself to school. You know, us Gen Xers, that's how we did things back in the day. I remember I got to the school and there was not a car in the parking lot, and I started crying because I thought I missed the field trip. Everybody left without me, and so when I walked back home, my mother at that time, may she rest in peace, she was in the kitchen. I'm telling this story. It's just like it happened this morning. It's that just that vivid, and I can remember every detail of it. And I remember I'm walking all the way back home crying because I thought I missed the field trip. I walk in the house and my mother is in the kitchen. I can see her now telling this story. And when she saw me, she asked me what was wrong with me. And then I told her, I said that the school left without me for the field trip, and she said, "Boy, it's Saturday." So I went from crying to being instantly happy again because Saturdays was cartoons day, right? And I didn't miss the field trip. Very true story, every last bit of it. Now, moving on from that, okay? So I saw heaven and hell in my dream, and I saw what I now know is the lake of fire, and Satan, I can only say, was coming out of the fire. And when I said the name Jesus in my dream, I was instantly taken from that place up to be with the Lord, and me and the Lord walked and talked the rest of the night long. I cannot remember anything we talked about. I can't say what his facial features looked like because I remember looking up at him and all I saw was just like looking at the sun. Okay, so there's that. All right, very real experience. Now the second experience I had was when I was in the seventh grade. For 2 years, I went to a private school in Detroit, Saint Scholastica Catholic school, right? And in my seventh grade year, I'm sitting in class. The priest, I guess, or whatever, from the rectory came over to and pulled me out of the classroom. So he had got me and two other students, and he took us out of the school part of the school and over to the rectory. We used to have mass every Friday over at the church, okay? And so he walked us three students over to the rectory, to the church, and instead of going through the normal doors that we always went through as students, for mass every Friday, he took us through a side door, and so now I'm like in the back side of the rectory. And we walked down this long hall, and I'll never forget it. Just like I'm doing it now, and I'm just being amazed because this is a whole other part of the building that I've never seen as a student at this school. And so he takes us in this room, and he pulls out this box, right? And he's showing, and he opens the box, and the box was a vial, and he tells us that this is a piece of the cross that Jesus was crucified on. Okay, so as a child at that time, I'm not really knowing the significance of what's going on, right, or the honor, right, but we were being shown what to the Catholic school or to the Catholic faith at this time they considered to be a relic. Okay, now, I've always wondered all my life, like, why out of all the students at this Catholic school would they pick me? Right? I was a C below. I wasn't a very good student. I had a lot of troubles at home. Just was not. I wasn't a good student, so I didn't get good grades. I was bullied. I was a bedwetter, so more often than not, I always smelled like pee, and so I just was not. And so that has always bothered me. Well, not so much bothered me, but made me wonder why? Why? How did they pick me to go show me what they consider to be a holy relic? You know. And so anyway, I tell that story. I'll tell these two stories just for context. Okay, make of it what you will. Every word is true as the Lord bears witness. Okay, these two experiences. Okay, so now I get into the purpose of the devotion. This has been on my heart all morning. Okay, so uh, let's start with the verse. Revelations 21:8. Okay, Revelations 21:8 says, or yeah, chapter 21, chapter 21, verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. I saw that lake of fire. I didn't know it then as a child, but as when I got older, when I went to Teen Challenge when I was like 18, 19. That's when I really became a student of the Bible, and that's when I began to learn about this lake of fire. And I know that that's what I had seen when I was a kid in that vision, okay, or dream, or whatever you want to call it. But I saw the lake of fire with my own eyes and the beast coming out of the fire. And when I said the name Jesus, he took me from that place to be up with him. So I was saved in that moment. That I marked that moment as my salvation with the Lord. Okay, Okay, so as a teenager, I went to church, and of course, they had an altar call, and I went forth and publicly gave my life to the Lord and got baptized, so on and so forth. But I do say that my real salvation came in that moment, in that vision, that dream that I had with the Lord, and I called on His name, and He rescued me from that lake of fire that I saw as a child. Okay, and I didn't know it was the lake of fire, but I know that's what that was now. So that place is very real. The Lord is very real, and that has been the anchor of my faith and my all throughout my life. That memory, that vision, has carried me my whole life through my darkest times, through my hardest times, to this day now. Even when doubt and fear and worry begin to creep in, that has always anchored my soul and anchored my faith. That and the fact that when I went to Catholic school, they pulled me out of class to show me what they considered to be a holy relic. I still think about that to this day. I thought about even getting in touch with the school and asking them why and how did they choose me out of all the students there who to me seemed that they would be more qualified to do so. Okay, all right. Now, uh, so Jesus talked about hell extensively, more so than other figures in the Bible, but the focus of his teachings was on the kingdom of heaven and how to live a life that pleases God. While the percentages of verses referencing hell is relatively small compared to other topics, the warnings about hell are clear and vivid. Okay, in essence, Jesus' message about hell is not one of dwelling on punishment, but rather a serious warning about the dangers of rejecting God and the importance of choosing life and salvation. Okay, so it's always been said and always been taught to me that Jesus spoke more about hell than he did heaven, when he in his ministry. Okay, and so, but it was never in the sense of, fire and brimstone, but a warning, that this is what awaits for those who choose who aren't going to believe that Jesus is the way to heaven. Okay, it'd be like Noah warning everybody that a flood is coming and to get in the ark. Okay, it's the same way Jesus was warning everybody that hell awaits, and if you don't place your faith in me as the ark, so to speak, then you are doomed. Okay, and so this is you don't hear a lot of preaching about hell no more these days because I mean these false preachers and false teachers and apostate churches and these pretenders in the faith, they aren't going to preach and teach about what awaits those who are unbelievers. Okay, now I have to admit something. I don't have I don't have I'm not compelled to seek out the lost. I'm just not, and I take that to the Lord all the time. Like I have no burden for the lost. I don't. I feel a calling for those who are saved already to come alongside them and to encourage and to embolden them more in their faith. But not to seek out the lost. Maybe it's because of my past upbringing. I've crossed paths with so many evildoers and unbelievers. Like to me, everybody has heard about Jesus. Everybody has heard about God. It's like to me, there's no excuse no more these days. So it's like everybody has heard, and you either accepted it or you rejected it, right? So I don't feel no calling on me to try to save those from hell, right? People to me how through my lens of experience, people have already made their decisions, right? So for those who have chosen Jesus as the way and the truth and the life to the kingdom of heaven, then as your brother, as a fellow soldier in this good fight, my calling is to help you, to come alongside you, to stand with you, and to encourage you. That is my calling. That's my ministry, and that is what I am compelled to do. And I don't feel there's nothing in me that feels for the lost at all. And trust me, this is something that I'm always seeking reassurance from the Lord about because I don't want to seem like that I lack empathy or compassion. It's not that. It's just that I know evildoers. I know people who are evildoers. Okay? They are going to hell, and rightfully so. Like nothing in me feels for these people at all. I don't pray that they find salvation. I pray that they get death, sickness, and disease. These people are enemies of the cross, reprobating their minds. They have made their decision. Okay, and so that's just that's just what it is with me. And I know there are others who have a calling and are compelled to go out and seek the lost and try to bring as many as they can unto the Lord for salvation. And I praise the Lord for those who are called to do that. That is a gift and that is a calling, right? That is not mine at all. I can't even stress that enough. And like I said, it's something that I'm always having to seek assurance from the Lord because I don't want to be in error. I have love, I have compassion, I have empathy, just not for the evildoers, not for those who are reprobating their minds, not for those who have made their decision, who have heard the gospel, who know the Lord, and have still chosen to go and serve the kingdom of darkness. So I am not wasting my time, talents, and gifts on those people at all, not at all. So make of that what you will, but that is what it is, as they say. And like I said, I'm always seeking reassurance from the Lord, and He has. There's nothing. There's a few things. I struggle with when Jesus tells us to love our enemy. He helped give me understanding with that. There's another thing when as far as when it comes to forgiveness, the Lord has helped give me understanding with that, and then being compelled to seek out those who are lost and on their way to hell, and He has given me understanding with that. So there we are with that. All right, Saints. So that's all I got for this one. I know it's rushed. It's the Reader's Digest version. I just wanted to get that out there. Maybe one day, hopefully soon, when the Lord will give me the capacity and the space to really flesh out those two experiences that I shared, and give it just more depth and more clarity, more understanding. I will do so, right? But we're not there yet. These aren't two stories that I share often and readily because they're sacred to me as far as how my faith goes, and I don't make light of it, and I don't want others to make light of it. Okay, those two are very real experiences, and I share those for the saints. Okay, I'm not trying to convince people about God and that Jesus is real. I'm past that. To me, there is no excuses these days for those. In my lens, everybody has heard about God and Jesus, and they have either rejected or accepted. It's just that simple for me. Okay, my calling and my devotion, my efforts are for those who have accepted the gospel and who are choosing to walk and follow hard after the Lord. And I am your brother to help you in that effort. So amen to that. All right, thank you for watching. If you got any value out of this, all I ask is that you take 5 minutes and give it back unto the Lord. I pray that your faith be increased this day. I pray that you have a blessed and a wonderful day today. I pray for your peace, prosperity, and protection this day. And as always, let's be light and let's be salt. Thank you for watching.